Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Diana Emerson today. We are going to listen to Vengeance Killer Millionaires, the Deadly Picture Show. I'm going to be crocheting. They were concerned about their welfare around those stories. They had heard things happening, shouting, fights.
It was weird. It's as if he was trying to tell us something.
He went off on what can only be described as a drinking and drugs binge. Ultimately led to the tragic death of a lovely, caring wife.
A woman who's taken away from us by a horrible, sadistic man.
Situated in the stunning rolling wolds of North Lincolnshire lies the peaceful village of Worleby.
I've lived in Willoughby for 48 years. It's a really nice, quiet village. Everybody seems to know everybody. We get on really well.
Last year we won the best kept village.
It's a nice little village, plenty of activities, plenty going on.
It's so quiet, it's a little rural idyll, if you like. It's like going back in time living here. There's very little crime. It's beautiful. And it's a wonderful place to live for young families or retired people. You've got all of them here.
Friendly community, everybody seems like pretty much okay, you know.
There's a lot of people who help each other, so there is quite a lot of good community atmosphere.
And it is a lovely place to live. It's really nice.
So it's the ideal place for Ian Hamer and wife Joanne to set up home.
We're fairly new to the village. I've only been here about 5 years in total.
I think I met her once. She seemed a really nice lady.
Joanne in particular seems to throw herself into village life.
Joanne was liked by everyone on the road. Outgoing, always out on the streets or speaking to each other. Ian would never see. He would be in his home quite a lot. Joanne, complete opposite. Everyone loved her, a really welcoming woman, and she got on with everyone. As people wanted to hook up to her, and that's why I think she quickly integrated into and loved living there.
Joanne also has a successful career at the local council where she manages their healthy lifestyle service. After 6 years there, she's risen to become the public face of their healthy living campaigns.
She was quite a bright, some would say brilliant person who had quite a substantial job working in the local authority. Really independently minded in some respects. Just a lovely woman. And did wonders for the council. Everyone loved her at the council. And no one had a word to say about it.
Ian Hamer, Joanne's husband of 27 years, works as a self-employed business consultant.
He worked in many businesses and earning money here and there. And just to stay in a reasonable living, you know, in a nice place in Willoughby, quite an expensive area to live in. So he must have been doing okay in his profession, I guess. They seem to be happy with each other. Friends and family said that there was a good couple for the large part. Married a long time, nice family, 3 kids. It was all seemingly going well.
But what seems like an idyllic life is about to change. Homicide police are called after Joanne fails to turn up for work. Her elderly mother has also been trying to reach her, to no avail.
They did speak most days, if not every day, because her mother was very ill as well. And Joanne used to help to look after her. And that raised sufficient concern for her to ring the police.
There were concerns about their welfare. The alarm bells were raised.
And a concern for welfare incident was generated, which resulted in the police attending.
Police make their way over to the family home. When they knock on the door, there's no answer. So the officers break in. When they search through the house, Nothing could prepare police for what they find in the master bedroom. Joanne Hamer's lying lifeless on her bed.
Medical professionals will have been called immediately. Monitors will have been placed on to see if there's any signs of heart trace or anything. Any chance whatsoever that resuscitation could take place.
They had discovered she was dead. It's apparent she'd been killed from the scene where she was left. And there was blood at the scene as well.
Joanne had been strangled by her dressing gown cord.
That's when we're looking at securing evidence within our scene.
Teams of police descend on Worthing. The quiet village has never seen anything like it.
When I came back from work, there was police cars, vans, and I'm saying, what's going on? What the hell are police doing here? Something happened. And then when I got home, and my daughter texted me and said she'd seen it, that there'd been a murder. I just couldn't believe it. I was so shocked that something like that would happen in a lovely village like this. You don't expect it.
As word spreads fast through the neighbourhood, the local newspaper gets wind of an incident in Worthing. Reporter Charlie Wilson heads to the scene.
So okay, we've got a big story. Let's get there first. Let's be quick. Let's be first. So we got down there. We were the first people there. Very quickly, it was evident this could be a very serious, scary incident. I've never reported on a murder before. That's the first time that's happened to me. So it was a case of doing it really delicately, respectfully, and just trying to build up what happened, really.
Soon, the news is spreading beyond the boundaries of the village.
Maybe an hour later, you get the lights of ITV, BBC, Sky coming down. And that's when it was like, whoa, okay, people out on the road, like, wondering what's going on. Yeah, everyone was shocked to see like media attention.
You just don't get this sort of thing in these sort of villages.
Yeah, I was quite shocked, really. You would never think that something would happen in a small community like this. I couldn't believe it.
Everybody was shocked. It didn't seem right. Something like that would happen here. You hear about it in cities, but in a little quiet Lincolnshire village, you just don't expect it at all.
Joanne's family are left devastated by the news, and her colleagues at work are also reeling.
Truly sad. I spoke to a few of them. They were just in pieces. Of course, it would be. My colleague who they loved dearly, and I really did love her. It was tough for him. It was very tough.
And it dawns on Joe's village that there's a killer living in their midst.
I think some people were a little bit upset. They were locking the doors a bit more quickly.
I think the first reaction is alarm, because when you hear there's a murder but you don't know the circumstances, it can frighten people into thinking we've got a killer at large who's going to cause more trouble. You're quite fearful about what it could mean and what the implications for the future are.
It was very awful to hear that it had happened in our village. It's frightening. It really is.
With fear spreading quickly throughout the village, Humberside Police needs to work fast to establish who committed this horrendous crime. And first, they look at Joanne's home life.
This marriage on the surface, to all intents and purposes, would have looked like a stable, normal marriage without too many problems. The reality was quite different.
What I heard was that their marriage wasn't great. By the people on the road who lived there, because they had heard things happening, and let's just say, really shouting, fights.
It turns out Joanne and Ian had recently had a trial separation, but then Joanne decided to return to the family home.
Joanne Hamer had sought to see if she could give the relationship one last chance. This was part of her trying to make the relationship work.
This new information puts husband Ian in a new light.
Maybe Joanne tried to keep certain things to herself to hide what was really going on at home to save her marriage.
With Ian Hamer nowhere to be seen, police suspicions are starting to build.
We do know in this particular case that a neighbour had reported an argument in the morning between them.
I spoke to the woman who heard the incident around 4 o'clock in the morning, around that time. She had heard screams, shouts for help,
and then the argument ceased.
Police launch an urgent public appeal to help them find Joanne's husband. They need to track down Ian Hamer and fast. In the quiet Lincolnshire village of Wortherby, police have launched a murder hunt. Mother of 3, Joanne Hamer, has been found strangled in her bed. Husband Ian has mysteriously disappeared since a row reported by neighbours in the early hours of the morning. And this doesn't seem to be the first either.
I guess people on the road had heard these things where it really went back to say the least. None of the neighbours who I spoke to liked him at all.
With Ian Hamer now under suspicion, Humberside police make an urgent appeal for his whereabouts. They release the details of his car, a white BMW 5 Series. They also warn the public not to approach him.
Once the decision had been made, the investigation officer suspects.
Yeah, I think the reason why I had the
actions raised to secure his arrest.
Oh my God, I think that was. That's what happened.
We may be able to solicit instigating a research. Using the vehicle in this case. So we might be putting the vehicle details on the plate.
Damn, I really want to see it.
And as soon as that vehicle passes an ANPR camera, then that will send an alert to the police. All these inquiries made to trace and arrest Ian Hamer.
He was the last person with her and disappeared from the scene. So the investigation then was focusing on building that picture around what had happened between them. Then going further back, what happened between them just on that night, and also in the period leading up to this.
Detectives put Ian Hamer under the microscope.
The picture that emerged from witnesses was of somebody who was supremely self-assured, self-confident, and superficially was, or at least on the face of it, was somebody who was quite engaging and interesting. But those same people I always spoke about, well, the more we got to know you, there was creativity with the slides. They also described how times being presented being very self-interested and, I suppose, conceited. So there was somebody who could, when he wanted to present in a way which was superficially attractive, but the more people got to know him, the more there was to it, which was unattractive.
It surprised me.
After speaking to Joanne's family and friends, it turns out Hamer has a checkered history.
There have been a number of previous reports made indicating domestic violence. He was reported to have ripped up a wedding dress.
There was reports of him tearing up a teddy bear, which was sentimental.
This is really significant in a case such as this.
The police have been called out on many occasions, but as is so often the case, they weren't really ever progressed. Parts of that was because of the approach of the family to try and manage what was happening within the family. The personality of Joanne Hamer was tragically to try and make it work at all times. And she shouldn't be thought like a marriage with her husband of 27 years and 3 children work. It's just that he was so far gone and so far twisted.
There were a number of occasions where she often managed to persuade her to come back, and I've investigated, sadly, domestic homicides where controlling, abusive husbands, wives, and you know that Hamer did this.
They are? Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. No.
In their relationship.
So, he was antagonistic towards his wife's relationship.
Not that I could
So,
okay, thank you.
Towards his wife. Driving a wedge between them.
Oh, she is? Okay.
It just shows this controlling and coercive and bullying and domineering nature of Ian Hamer towards his wife within that relationship. And that isn't uncommon in domestic homicide cases.
It seems the couple reconciled, but then in 2017, things take another turn for the worse. Ian Hamer starts accusing his wife of having affairs. Police analysis of Joanne's smartphone reveals something even more sinister. Around this time, Hamer hacked into his wife's handset so he could track her every move.
He would apparently follow her to work, follow her on nights out with friends, monitor her phone on where she was going, where she was at, wouldn't let her do certain things, apparently wear certain things, and she was a bit closed off.
This is how obsessive he was about his wife and his jealousy and his thought processes, that he wanted to accuse her of extramarital affairs.
And a probe of the couple's bank accounts shows Ian's disturbingly tight grip over her purse strings.
He was keeping money from her, basically, like I guess not giving her an allowance of what to spend and what she could do, and wouldn't let her go out at certain times. All the bearings of, a toxic, horrible relationship. Obviously, she felt trapped. She felt like she needed to get out, and she tried to do that. He wouldn't let.
In the weeks before her death, Joanne had moved out and was considering buying a property. But she was persuaded by Ian to return 2 days before her murder. It was on this day, the 4th of May, that police background checks reveal a disturbing incident. Ian Hamer had been arrested for drink driving.
As well as being controlling and abusive towards his wife, he seemed to be losing control of his own life in some respects. He was drinking more heavily. So there's a clear pattern there of his own destructive behaviour escalating within himself, and particularly abusing alcohol as part of that process.
Investigators discover it's not only drink that's fueling Hamer's abusive behaviour.
He had a cocaine problem that had become prevalent in his life over the last 2 or 3 years, and that became worse and worse and worse. When he picked up this addiction, maybe his personality changed because of that, and his health, mental and physical, deteriorated.
Businessman Ian Hamer's respectable lifestyle is now questionable. And when they learn what he did in the hours following the estimated time of Joanne's murder, they're convinced they have the right man. Soon after that last blazing row reported by neighbours, Joanne's mother said she had an unsettling phone call with her son-in-law.
When family members tried to contact her the following morning, he told them that Joanne Hamer couldn't speak to them because she was unwell, and as he framed it, she had a sore throat.
Chillingly, Police believe Joanne was already dead when Hamer made that calculating comment.
Just like sick, like strangle her, and then you go tell her mum that she can't go because she's got a bad throat. Like sadistic, like horrible. When you hear that, it's just like I don't know what to say. Horrible.
And it appears Hamer used the same story again.
His son had attended at the marital home at a time when Joanne Hamer was probably dead, and that's when he first introduced that concept of her having a sore throat when he knew she'd been strangled and she was probably dead.
He also told his son as well when he was at the house to go and buy some lozenges because his mother was sleeping, she had a bad throat, knowing full well that he'd strangled her, which now we know what happened, was thickly chilling in this case. To say that she got a bad throat, I mean, how callous is that?
And therefore the question is whether was that him being cruel or was it him buying time?
This cunning ploy tells police they have a calculating killer on the run who wants to stay one step ahead of them. But it's only a matter of time before a false move by Hamer would reveal where he's hiding. Worleby, North Lincolnshire. Murder suspect Ian Hamer is on the run after his wife Joanne is found strangled in their bedroom.
And this is a man who, at this point, everyone in the area looking for him knows that Hamer's a man.
As police cast their search net wider, reporters like Charlie Wilson are on the ground looking for leads. Suddenly that morning, there's word from nearby Barton upon Humber.
We heard news that there might be an incident in Barton where he might be. And so we went to Barton and then heard he was going to be seen near a pub.
Barton is about 8 miles away, and it's quite big presence of people, so it's the obvious place to go. You've got the Humber Bridge, from the Humber Bridge you've got the whole of Yorkshire to go into and disappear. It would be a logical place to go.
A resident next to one of the town's car parks spots a man behaving erratically.
He was basically sweating around the car park and making noise, acting strange.
Not realising it's Humberside Police's most wanted, Ian Hamer, the woman calls 999 to report a disturbance.
I think she reported that he was on spices shouting. Obviously, he was actually drunk, intoxicated, whatever he was on. And he would wander around the car park, shout.
A lone patrol officer heads to the car park to move this wild drunkard on.
Police basically just found a man shouting, being straight. Realised this is Ian Hamer. Arrest him straight away.
The officer single-handedly tackles Hamer to the floor, then restrains him whilst he radios for assistance.
I have to say the actions of the officer that arrested him were exemplary, real bravery shown in tackling this individual. And when he was arrested, he actually had to detain him. This is a rural force. It's not an inner city force with the same number of resources.
Meanwhile, roving reporter Charlie Wilson is close by. Suddenly he's alerted to the breaking news.
A woman sent me a picture of a man on the floor being sat on by a police officer. Okay, that's how. So we don't know where it is. I'm actually shocked getting a drink of Lucozade. Run around with my Lucozade in hand. So I arrive at the scene. Ian Hamer is being sat on by a lone police officer, waiting for his fellow officers to come. So to come around the corner and see a police officer sat on who believes Ian Hamer was just
Wild, yeah.
After struggling to contain Hamer for nearly 5 minutes alone, backup finally arrives for the officer.
They must have came, got half a second after I came round the corner, and then police swarmed on him, got him away, and sort of like ushered us away. Clearly intoxicated, drunk or drugs or both, not in his right frame of mind. In the clothes that he's wearing the night before. Get him up, handcuff him, escort him to the back of the van.
Meanwhile, news of an arrest for Joanne's murder filters back to her village of Willoughby. Residents can now breathe a sigh of relief.
I was just pleased he'd been caught on the crime, but to then find out that it was her husband, it was a real shock.
Detectives start to piece together what Hamer's been up to in the last 24 hours since fleeing the murder scene.
He went off on what can only be described as a drink and drugs binge. We know that from the inquiries that were made. Laughing and joking, certainly no signs of remorse or distress.
Bar owner Pauline Dickinson had reported serving Ian Hamer, but when he arrived on her premises, she had no idea he was on the run.
He came in the pub around 5:30, never seen him before, asked for a pint of Cali. He got his pint of Cali and went and sat down out the way of everybody.
Next, Hamer returns to the bar and starts to hit the spirits. Soon the conversation heads in a strange and unsettling direction.
Put the tequila on the bar and he literally looked either side of himself, leant over the bar and said to me, "Why did the Mexican push his wife off the cliff?" So I did the same as he did, looked either side and said, "To kill her?" He went, "No, you know it." I said, "Yeah, I did." He paid for his drinks, went and sat down. He came back to the bar 10-15 minutes later and stood there.
Then Pauline drops something sinister.
He hid his arm behind, but I'd already seen that he'd got scratches. I don't know which way, it was just you could see scratches on his wrist. One of my customers noticed scratches as well and went, "Oh, he's one of those he's been harming." One of my customers said to him, "Hey up, mate, what are you doing in here? Are you from here?" He said, "No," he said, "I'm not from here. I'm just going through a breakup with my wife." So he went, "Oh, right. Sorry to hear that, mate." He went, "Yeah, she's taking me for me money." So he said, "Don't be sad." He said, "Have another drink." So one of the customers bought him a drink.
Over the next few hours, Hamer knocks back the drinks, laughing and joking with the regulars.
So he did about 2 more jokes to the point where the customer said, "No wonder your wife left you. If you've got jokes like that," he went, "that's maybe why she's gone then."
Quite significantly as well, he was seen to take his wedding ring off, so he knows what's happened. He knows that his wife's dead. So, that's quite a significant gesture. And that was done, nearly hours after he'd actually killed his wife. It just shows the kind of individual that he is.
Some of the pub regulars seem unsettled by this customer they've never seen before, who has struck up conversation with another man at the bar.
My 2 regulars, they finished their drinks. I went, "Right, you 2 go in." They went, "No, we're not going." I said, "Why? We're not leaving you with them 2. We don't know the other guys, so we're not leaving you with them." I went, "No, don't be daft. What are these 2 going to do to me? I'll soon have them out the door, don't worry." So they went, "No, we're staying." So they stayed.
Soon the bar's regulars saw glimpses of another side to their joking acquaintance, who's going by a false name, Sebastian.
So we played pool against one of my regulars, who is a really good player. And during the game, there was banter going on, but right at the end, when the customer knew he was going to win, he picked up the broom that I got out ready to clean up and potted Black with the broom, which Sebastian said, "That is so disrespectful to do that." I said, "I don't think so, I still won." I don't think he was very pleased and finished his drink, and he did actually walk out. You just get a feeling about people. You know if they're not okay. I don't think he would have done any harm, but who knows?
Next morning, Pauline's alerted to the terrifying news on Facebook. But the customer she had served the night before isn't called Sebastian, but Ian Hamer. And he's wanted by police for murder.
My reaction was, oh my God. So I phoned a policeman that I know, and within 5-10 minutes, I think, they'd got him.
Soon the joke Hamer told Pauline about a man pushing his wife off a cliff takes on a sinister new meaning.
It was weird, but they were just jokes like, you know what, a kid would come home and tell you jokes, but it's not until the following day when I actually thought to myself, it's as if he was trying to tell us something. I don't know. It's not until the following day that things fell into place.
Despite his intoxicated state, Ian Hamer engages with the police at the point of his arrest.
He says something like, it wasn't murder, it was manslaughter. Something along those lines. I heard the word manslaughter.
He did make a very significant statement, an unsolicited comment to the officer indicating that he wasn't guilty of murder, it was diminished responsibility, so he was already offering up a statutory defence to murder.
After 24 hours on the run, Ian Hamer has been arrested in North Lincolnshire on suspicion of murder. Just hours after killing his wife, Joanne, Hamer was spotted in Pauline's bar, just 7 miles away from the crime scene.
You just would not have thought he'd actually killed his wife and just come blazingly into a bar a few miles away, having a drink. When you hear them things, it's like, really? Could you be so cold-blooded and heartless?
When police take him in for questioning, Hamer repeats his claims that he committed manslaughter due to mental illness. But one throwaway comment soon after his arrest suggests this is a cunning ploy to reduce any impending prison sentence.
And what was their telling piece of evidence? He said to the officers who were tending to him, this was manslaughter, and asked this question.
Oh, didn't you get a chance to go out?
This was a man who was presented
Yes, you can.
that he was not to be held responsible for his wife's death.
This is clearly somebody
Okay, I'm coming over to you.
and his response is already trying to get justice for his crime. As soon as he's arrested, he's clearly given a great deal of thought before his arrest.
In spite of Hamer's claims, he's charged with his wife's murder. Months later, mental health experts are brought in to provide a true picture of Hamer's state of mind.
After his arrest, he was subsequently interviewed by two psychiatrists to explore whether there were any mental illness elements that would lead to diminished responsibility.
They ask him probing questions about his relationship with wife Joanne.
He began to present what was ultimately going to be his defense. He accepted he had killed her, but in the context where he said he didn't want to do it, he used a phrase that it was some sort of psychotic episode.
Then Hamer starts to go on the offensive, claiming he is the real victim in the abusive marriage.
Ian Hamer claimed that his wife had taunted him and to say that children weren't his. He made a slur on his wife's character, saying she was engaged in extramarital affairs. There's no evidence of this.
He would say that she would see other people, that she would go dating apps and she would find them more attractive than him. Anyone who knew Joanne, this was completely laughable. She's the most loyal woman you could meet. Just sort of make up excuses in his head, I guess, find ways and motives to deal with it.
No, I said that you was taken out, but he wanted me to pet him, so I got up and pet him. Mm-hmm.
To support that, this was all seen as a tissue of lies. And clearly the people that knew Joanne had not seen any evidence of this whatsoever. And the only person who could suggest that this had taken place was Ian Hamer himself.
But soon, the psychiatrists start to uncover Hamer's true colours.
What was actually found by two psychiatrists, one diagnosed him with morbid jealousy and one with obsessive jealousy. But clearly, there wasn't an element of diminished responsibility for his actions. From the facts we know about the case and his behaviour and his actions, come as no surprise, because we can see the way that he jealously controlled his wife's movements and behaviour, a real controlling nature.
And when detectives scan Hamer's smartphone, the picture he painted as the victim starts to crumble. Just days before Joanne's murder, they find texts he sent to another woman promising jewellery.
Things he was doing, he would accuse her for. He was seeing other women, that came out. He was on dating apps. He would accuse her of the things that he was doing exactly the same.
We do know that Ian Hamer had affairs, he had one night stands, and he accused his wife of the same. There's no evidence to suggest that that was the case.
But investigators are blown away when they uncover the name Hamer uses on his dating profile. It sounds strikingly familiar.
He used a fake name, Sebastian, apparently. He used women wherever he was going to maybe go out on these dates and meet people. And yeah, to use a fake name, like you're always equal to something that's not good.
15 months after Joanne's murder, husband Ian Hamer is finally put on trial at Hull Crown Court. He pleads guilty to manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. But the prosecution sets out the case for cold-blooded murder.
So it was a consideration for the jury of whether that was a man demonstrating a real symptoms of mental illness, or whether it was
So everybody party? Okay, I'll feed them.
to formulate a defense.
Let's see.
The court is told the torrid details of the abuse Hamer inflicted on his wife.
Mm-hmm.
The question that was raised with the jury is whether or not, by the time of the killing, he in effect wanted to get rid of his wife so he could move on, but he needed control of that situation, and that's how he presented the case.
As the trial progresses, even Hamer's own children take to the stand against their own father to describe the abuse suffered in their own home.
One of them spoke of being aware of that from a very young age, becoming increasingly toxic and abusive. You then see the horrible human side of this because they're being required to give evidence against one of their parents, and in circumstances where they've lost the other one. And for them, there's no good outcome to any of this.
Following a heart-wrenching 3-week trial, the jury retires to consider their verdict.
The verdict of the jury was that Ian Henry was guilty of murder. Therefore, they rejected that idea that his mental state was such that he was not able to exercise proper judgment and control.
He designed everything, including his response to the arresting officer, to make out that this was the case, that it was diminished responsibility. Thankfully, the jury didn't buy that, and they saw through Ian Hamer's excuses for what they were, just excuses.
Hamer's jailed for life with a minimum of 22 years. At the time of sentencing, the judge takes into account the years of domestic violence Joanne suffered at the hands of her husband and his abusive control over her finances.
The judge actually commented that he believed that one of the main motives in this case was he was afraid if the relationship ended that he would lose a significant amount of money. Money to which Joanne in the law of England and Wales was entitled to. Those were the family finances that should have been spent on the family. He didn't want that to happen, and he murdered his wife as a result.
Killed someone, got out drinking, using drugs. What he did, he obviously deserves to be locked away for the rest of his life if that's the case.
Killers like Ian Hamer are so manipulative and so self-centered, and ultimately it led to the tragic death of a lovely, caring wife. But there's only one person to blame for, and it's Ian Hamer.
Years later, the sadness of the case is still felt by those in the quiet Lincolnshire village of Willoughby.
There must be some weird, I guess, aura of people still living there knowing that what happened in that house happened the worst. To open what people's eyes to thinking it's going to happen anyway.
I feel so sorry for the family. You know, one act like that and it's wrecked the family. And it's something they'll have to live with, I'm afraid to say, and it's not very nice.
Ian Hamer is definitely a master manipulator. A lovely woman who's taken away from us by a horrible, sadistic man. You know, something you never expected to report on, especially in Willoughby. I never met Joanne, but I know she's a lovely woman. I know that, you know, she deserved a lot better than Ian Hamer. Truly sad story, a sad situation. All you can do is just hope the best for the Hamer family, the children. Just an awful situation which Ian Hamer will spend the rest of his life in jail for.